Hey there, welcome back to Senior Envision. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we're diving into something incredibly important for anyone over 60 who wants to stay strong, sharp, and full of energy as they age. If you've ever noticed that simple tasks, like getting up from a chair, carrying your groceries, or climbing a few stairs, feel a bit tougher than they used to, you're not alone. You might be tempted to chalk it up to just getting older, but I'm here to tell you that it's not the whole story. There's a specific, fixable issue at play, and it revolves around one overlooked nutrient that can make a massive difference in how you feel. I'm Dr. Robert Ellington, a board-certified physician and researcher with over 30 years of experience studying aging, metabolism, and how we can keep our bodies thriving as we get older. I've worked with thousands of older adults to help them maintain their strength, independence, and mental clarity without extreme workouts or complicated treatments. Today, I want to share a game changer with you, a nutrient that can help rebuild your muscles, recharge your brain, and even make you feel years younger. It's called creatine, and no, it's not just for bodybuilders or young athletes. It's something your body already uses, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what it is, how it works, why it's so critical as we age, and how you can start using it in simple, practical ways to transform your daily life. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever felt like your strength or energy is slipping away, even just a little? Maybe you've noticed you're more tired after a walk or that your balance isn't what it used to be. Drop a yes, or share your story below, and let's connect. Also, if you're passionate about staying strong and independent as you age, make sure to hit that subscribe button for Senior Envision. We share science-backed tips every week to help you feel your best. Alright, let's get started with how this one nutrient can change the game for your health. First, let's talk about what's happening in your body as you age, because understanding the problem is the key to fixing it. There's a condition called sarcopenia, which is a fancy medical term for the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that happens to nearly everyone after the age of 60. It's not something you notice overnight, it creeps in slowly. Maybe you find it harder to open a jar, or you feel wobbly when you stand up too quickly. Perhaps you're avoiding certain activities because they feel risky, or you're just not as steady on your feet as you once were. Sarcopenia doesn't just affect your muscles though. It can sap your energy, slow your balance, and even make it harder to think clearly. That's right. Your brain and muscles are more connected than you might realize. The good news: there's a way to fight back, and it doesn't involve spending hours at the gym or overhauling your entire life. The secret weapon is creatine, a natural compound your body already makes and uses every single day. It's not a fad, a gimmick, or some trendy supplement. It's a nutrient your muscles and brain rely on to function at their best. In this video, I'm going to break down what creatine is, how it works inside your body, why it becomes even more important as you age, and the easiest ways to get more of it, whether through food or a simple supplement. I'll also share some practical tips for combining creatine with gentle movements to maximize its benefits, and we'll explore how it can support not just your muscles but your brain too. By the end, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to start using creatine to feel stronger, steadier, and more like yourself again. So, what exactly is creatine? Let's demystify it. Creatine is an amino acid compound, but it's not like the protein you get from eating a chicken breast or a bowl of beans. Instead, your body uses creatine as a kind of energy reserve, a backup battery that powers your muscles and brain when they need a quick burst of energy. Here's how it works in simple terms. Your body naturally produces creatine using 3 amino acids: arginine, glycine, and methionine. These are combined in your liver, kidneys, and pancreas to create about 1 to 2 grams of creatine every day. About 95% of that creatine gets stored in your muscles, where it waits, ready to spring into action when you need to move. The remaining 5% goes to your brain, and we'll talk more about why that's so important in a bit. Think of creatine as a rechargeable battery for your body. Inside your muscle cells, there's something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is like the universal energy currency for everything you do, from walking to thinking to breathing. When you move, like when you stand up from a chair or lift a bag of groceries, your muscles break down ATP to release energy. That process leaves behind ADP, which is like a drained battery. This is where creatine comes in. It donates a phosphate group to ADP, turning it back into ATP so your muscles can keep going. This happens thousands of times a day, every time you move, and it's why creatine is so essential. As we age, though, our bodies don't store or recycle energy as efficiently, which can leave you feeling sluggish or weak. If you've ever felt like your legs are heavier than they should be after a short walk, or you need more time to recover from everyday tasks, low creatine levels might be part of the problem. It's not about being out of shape, it's just biology. The good news is that you can boost your creatine levels through diet or supplementation, and it's easier than you might think. Now, you might be wondering, if my body already makes creatine, why do I need to worry about getting more of it? That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of why aging can feel so frustrating. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at producing and storing creatine. It's not your fault. It's a natural process called anabolic resistance, where your muscles don't respond as well to the signals that help them grow and stay strong. In your 20s or 30s, even light activity like walking or carrying a backpack could trigger your body to produce and store more creatine. But by the time you're in your 60s or 70s, your muscles need much stronger stimulation to maintain those same levels. To make matters worse, many older adults unintentionally reduce their creatine intake through changes in their diet. Maybe you've cut back on red meat to manage cholesterol, or you're eating smaller portions because your appetite isn't what it used to be. Perhaps you've shifted to a more plant-based diet, which is great for heart health but contains little to no creatine. These changes, combined with your body's reduced ability to make creatine, create a silent shortfall. Your muscles are running on less fuel than they need, and that can show up as feeling weaker, tireder, or less steady. It's like trying to drive a car with a half-empty gas tank. You can still get around, but it's not as smooth or efficient. The solution: give your body more creatine, either through food or a supplement, and pair it with gentle movement to help your muscles use it effectively. This isn't about becoming a fitness buff. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to keep you strong and independent. Let's talk about where you can get creatine naturally. The richest food sources are red meats like beef and pork, and fatty fish like salmon, tuna, sardines, and herring. For example, a serving of beef might give you 1 to 2 grams of creatine, and sardines are especially concentrated. If you eat these foods regularly, you're already getting some creatine, which is great. But here's the catch: to get the 3 to 5 grams a day that research suggests is optimal for older adults, you'd need to eat a lot of meat or fish, more than most people can or want to consume daily. For one, large portions of red meat might not sit well with your digestion, and concerns about cholesterol or heart health might make you hesitant. Plus, if you're on a plant-based diet, you're getting almost no creatine from food at all. This is where supplementation comes in as a simple, effective solution. Creatine monohydrate powder is the most studied and trusted form of creatine. It's safe, affordable, and easy to use. You don't need fancy blends or expensive formulas. Just mix a small scoop, about 3 to 5 grams, into your morning coffee, tea, water, yogurt, or oatmeal. Stir it well to make sure it dissolves, and avoid mixing it with sugary drinks like prune juice, which can cause bloating. It's as easy as that. You don't need to overhaul your diet or start a rigorous exercise routine. Creatine doesn't contain carbs, doesn't spike your blood sugar, and doesn't interact with most medications. If you have kidney issues or take diuretics, it's a good idea to check with your doctor first. But for most healthy older adults, it's a low-risk way to boost your energy and strength. Many of my patients make it a habit to add a scoop to their coffee or a small protein shake, and they barely notice it's there. Consistency is key. You don't need to obsess over exact doses or cycle on and off. Just make it part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth. Now, let's address a big concern I hear all the time: is creatine safe, especially for seniors? It's a valid question, and I'm glad people ask it, because it shows you're thinking carefully about your health. There's a persistent myth that creatine damages your kidneys, and it stems from a misunderstanding about a byproduct called creatinine. When you take creatine, your body breaks some of it down into creatinine, which is a marker doctors use to check kidney function. Early on, some people saw higher creatinine levels in lab tests and assumed it meant kidney damage. But here's what the science says: higher creatinine levels from creatine supplementation don't indicate harm. They just mean your body is processing more creatine. Large, long-term studies, some lasting several years, have shown that taking 3 to 5 grams of creatine daily doesn't damage healthy kidneys or livers. This holds true for older adults too. That said, if you have chronic kidney disease or take medications that affect fluid balance, like diuretics, talk to your doctor before starting. Another concern is dehydration, since creatine draws water into your muscle cells to support energy production. This can occasionally lead to mild dehydration if you're not drinking enough fluids. The fix: simply drink a bit more water throughout the day. Some people also experience minor digestive issues, like bloating or nausea, when they first start taking creatine, but these usually fade within a week or two as your body adjusts. To minimize this, you can split your dose, half in the morning, half later in the day, and always mix it thoroughly into a liquid or food. The bottom line: creatine is one of the most researched supplements out there, with hundreds of studies confirming its safety and effectiveness for adults of all ages. It's not a stimulant, it doesn't raise blood sugar, and it doesn't interact with most medications. For most healthy seniors, it's a safe, simple way to support your muscles and energy. While creatine alone can make a big difference, combining it with gentle resistance exercises can take the benefits to the next level. You don't need to hit the gym or lift heavy weights. Small, consistent movements can be incredibly effective. Think of these as exercise snacks. Short bursts of movement you can sprinkle throughout your day without special equipment or a lot of time. One of my favorite examples is the chair squat. Here's how it works: sit on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them for balance, and slowly stand up by pressing through your heels. Then lower yourself back down in a controlled way. Aim for 5 to 10 repetitions. This simple move strengthens your thighs, hips, and balance, which are critical for staying independent. Another great option is the wall push-up. Stand facing a wall, place your hands shoulder-width apart, lean forward slightly, and slowly bend your elbows to bring your chest toward the wall, then push back. This builds upper body strength without stressing your joints. You can also use light resistance bands or even household items like a water bottle or a can of soup for gentle curls or presses. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. When you combine these small movements with creatine, you create a powerful cycle. Exercise signals your muscles to grow, and creatine provides the fuel to make it happen. Many of my patients have told me that after a few weeks of combining creatine with simple exercises like these, they feel steadier on their feet, less worried about falling, and more confident doing everyday tasks like carrying groceries or getting up from the couch. You don't need long workouts. Just aim for 5 to 10 minutes of gentle resistance exercises 3 to 5 times a week. If it feels good, you can gradually add more repetitions or a bit more resistance, But always listen to your body and rest if you feel discomfort. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: creatine's impact on your brain. About 5% of your body's creatine is stored in your brain, and while that might not sound like much, your brain is an energy hog. It uses more fuel than any other part of your body, relying on ATP to power everything from remembering names to staying focused during a conversation. When your brain is stressed, say, after a bad night's sleep or a mentally taxing day, it burns through ATP faster. Creatine acts like a backup battery, helping to recharge ATP so your brain can keep functioning at its best. Studies, including a large meta-analysis that combined data from multiple trials, have shown that creatine supplementation can improve short-term memory and mental processing speed in people over 60. This is especially true for those who have lower creatine levels to start with, like vegetarians or people with reduced muscle mass. Patients often tell me that after a few weeks of taking creatine, they feel less foggy in the mornings, find it easier to recall words, and can focus longer on tasks like reading or hobbies. Creatine isn't a cure for serious conditions like dementia, but it's a research-backed way to support brain energy and keep your mind sharper. Unlike caffeine, it doesn't cause jitters or crashes. It's a subtle, steady boost. Researchers are even exploring whether creatine might help protect the brain from age-related decline, and while more studies are needed, the early results are promising. If you've ever had those moments where you forget why you walked into a room or struggle to recall a name, know that these are common as we age, but you can support your brain with tools like creatine, good sleep, and regular movement. As we wrap up, I want to shift your perspective on aging. The challenges we've talked about, muscle loss, low energy, slower thinking, aren't signs that your best years are behind you. They're signals that your body needs a little more support than it used to. I've seen countless patients come into my office feeling discouraged, believing that weakness or fatigue was just part of getting older. But time and again, I've watched those same people regain their strength, confidence, and independence by taking small, consistent steps. Creatine is one of those steps, a simple, natural tool your body already knows how to use. But it's not just about a supplement. It's about adopting a mindset that says, I can influence how I age. When you start seeing possibilities instead of limitations, everything changes. You begin to notice progress. Maybe it's feeling steadier on your feet, carrying your groceries with ease, or remembering a friend's name without a struggle. These small wins add up to a life of dignity, purpose, and connection to the people and activities you love. Health after 60 is like tending a garden. It doesn't require perfection, just steady care. Some days will be harder than others, but every positive choice, from taking a scoop of creatine to doing a few chair squats to prioritizing sleep, makes a difference over time. You deserve to feel strong, steady, and clear-headed, and you have more power than you might realize to make that happen. So, here's your action plan to get started with creatine. First, consider your diet. If you eat red meat or fatty fish regularly, you're already getting some creatine, but you might not be hitting the 3 to 5 gram target that research recommends. If you want to try supplementation, pick up some creatine monohydrate powder. It's widely available, affordable, and backed by decades of research. Mix 3 to 5 grams into your coffee, water, or a smoothie each morning. Be consistent, but don't stress about perfection. If you want to pair it with exercise, start with those exercise snacks we talked about. Chair squats, wall push-ups, or light resistance movements for 5 to 10 minutes a few times a week. Drink a bit more water to stay hydrated, and if you have any health conditions or take medications, check with your doctor first. Most importantly, be kind to yourself. You don't have to do everything at once. Just pick 1 or 2 small steps to start. Maybe it's adding creatine to your routine. Maybe it's committing to a short walk or a few squats each day. Every choice you make is a vote for a stronger, more independent future. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If you found this helpful or feel inspired to make a small change, please share your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Your story might just encourage someone else to take that first step. And if you want more practical, science-backed tips to stay strong and healthy after 60, hit that subscribe button for Senior Envision. We're here every week with simple strategies to help you thrive without overwhelm. Remember, aging doesn't mean giving up on your strength, energy, or clarity. It means finding new ways to support your body and mind so you can live life on your terms. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on. Until next time, take good care of yourself and keep moving forward.